On Tuesday, the House of Representatives defeated a bill that would have allowed Donald Trump or whoever's president to basically investigate and close news outlets, government watchdogs, humanitarian organizations, and other nonprofit groups. So now, if passed, the Stop Terror Financing and Tax Penalties on American Hostages Act would have granted the Treasury Department, soon to be under the control of a Trump nominee, therefore under control of Trump, the authority to unilaterally strip nonprofit groups of their tax-exempt status by deeming them supporters of terrorism. So it wouldn't just get rid of their tax-exempt status, it would come with a whole host of other negative things, because again, you're calling them sponsors of terrorism, which at this point is considered to be anything that the government doesn't like. This law would be disastrous. According to The Intercept, the law would not require officials to explain the reason for designating a group, nor does it require the Treasury Department to provide any evidence.
Just forget about the evidence.
So that's all you have to do is just be like, yeah, that group's a terrorist. They're supporting terrorism. And if it's a group that conservatives don't like, well, they're like, all right, you are now officially a terror supporting group, and you only get like 30 days to try to fight against it, which again, not going to be not really a lot of time, and there's very little chance that you would actually win against those allegations. So that just shows you how just Orwellian this bill really would be. Okay, so now, according to Ryan Costello, policy director, the National Iranian American Council Action, it basically empowers the Treasury Secretary to target any group it wants, to call them a terrorist supporter, and block their ability to be a nonprofit. That would essentially kill any nonprofit's ability to function. They couldn't get banks to service them. They won't be able to get donations, and there'd be a black mark on the organization, even if it cleared its name. So yeah, any group, for example, right, that opposes the Israeli ethnic cleansing of Gaza, they would be labeled a terrorist supporter, and then that's it. It's over for the group. Okay, and whatever they're trying to do, whether it's bring in, humanitarian aid or bring awareness to what's going on, they would not be able to do, and it would effectively chill free speech. Costello also warned that it could be theoretically used to target pro-choice groups. And he says, I could see it being used against environmental groups. It really would be at the discretion of the Trump administration as to who they target, with very little recourse for the targeted organization. That is terrifying. Now, this had been up before. It actually ended up passing the House the first time, but languished in the Senate, controlled by Democrats. Now, in this case, it did not pass the House. So it got reintroduced and had the hostages portion added onto it. Now, the reason, though, thankfully, that it didn't pass the House is you had a majority of Democrats and a lot of organizing against it, 144 Democrats. But you still ended up having 52 Democrats vote in favor of this bill, including Representatives Adam Schiff, Henry Cuellar, and Richie Torres. Yeah, they voted alongside 204 Republicans in favor of the bill. Now, this needed a 2/3 majority to pass. Nonetheless, I'm going to give you a list of Democrats here that voted in favor of this. So you might recognize some of these. Tom Suozzi, of course, Richie Torres. You also had Steny Hoyer. You had Josh Gottheimer, Marcy Kaptur, Jared Moskowitz, Adam Schiff, as I mentioned before, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Henry Cuellar, Alyssa Slotkin. A lot of these politicians, a lot of these Democrats are staunch supporters of what's going on in Israel right now and do not want a ceasefire, do not want an arms embargo. So that's very important here. So now only one Republican, Representative Thomas Massey of Kentucky, joined the 144 Democrats in voting no. Wow. Indivisible's Lee Greenberg said of this, quote, if you're looking for a handy list of Democrats who have no effing clue what it's about to hit and need your spine stiffened ASAP, this is a good place to start. Well, I would say primary them, but right now, can't really do that. A little late for that. Representative Rashida Tlaib wrote that these 52 Democrats voted to give Trump the power to shut down any nonprofit he wants. The NAACP, ACLU, Planned Parenthood, nor organization would be safe. Shameful. She's 100% correct. Then you had Georgia State Representative Ruwa Romman, a Palestinian American, condemning the legislation's 52 Democrat supporters. Quote, every single Democrat who voted for this is not taking the threat of Trump remotely seriously and should be disqualified from any leadership positions moving forward. This is no longer business as usual. To agree to give him this kind of power is beyond egregious. Yeah, I mean, look at Adam Schiff, for example. Like, he was out there sounding the alarm. Donald Trump, he is a threat to democracy. Okay, yeah, I believe that. But you can't just label someone an existential threat and then vote to give them unlimited powers, okay? I mean, the power to do something like this, to just target any nonprofit that they don't like, you think he's not going to use that? Understand that this is why a lot of people do not trust the Democratic Party, okay? You got people like Richie Torres, who are blaming Trump's victory on wokeness and trans people. Seth Moulton, okay? In reality, you know what prevented the Democratic victory? People like that, who don't give people a reason to vote, to show up for these weak, inauthentic, corporate-controlled Democrats who keep bending the knee to AIPAC's right-wing donors, okay? Because that's who funds AIPAC, by the way. And that same, network constellation of organizations, groups like Democratic Majority for Israel, okay, are being funded by right-wing donors to go into Democratic primaries and knock out progressives. And you wonder why we have these weak, feckless Democrats that will vote to empower Donald Trump. The person, he says, well, oh boy, what a danger to democracy. We got to stop Donald Trump. But how? By giving us money. Liars, all of them. All of them. And obviously it's not just AIPAC, right? It's all the large corporate donors that Congress bends down to serve instead of the people who they're supposed to serve, who they're supposed to protect. Now, with an incoming Trump administration, it's completely it's just inexcusable for these Democrats to be voting to give Trump even more authoritarian powers. Because guess what? He's going to use them if he's got them. So if you think Donald Trump's an actual threat, then you might want to actually reconsider what you're doing, what you're voting for, or just admit that he's not really a threat, not to me at least, but he certainly is a threat to you. And we just don't care. At least be honest with us before you let Trump screw us over. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.